my entire life imploded. Not in a slow, agonizing decay, but in a sudden, violent shatter that left me gasping for air in the wreckage. And it was all because of a lie, whispered by a child I loved, that everyone I cherished believed without a second thought. The digital clock on my bedside table glowed 2:17 a.m., a cold, indifferent blue. Outside, the city was a hushed, suffocating blanket of night. Inside, the silence was a scream, echoing the void where my old life used to be, illuminated only by the faint, angry glow of my phone screen. My name is Ethan Miller, and I was 38 when this nightmare began. Just 6 months earlier, I had a life that most would envy. I was a senior accountant in Columbus, Ohio, building a respectable career. My girlfriend, Chloe, and I had been together for 4 years, and we were actually looking at rings. My apartment was comfortable, my friends were solid, and my family, though imperfect, felt like a constant. My sister, Paige, 4 years younger, had married young to Kevin, and their daughter, Lily, was born when Paige was just 21. Paige and we were a unit growing up. Our parents' divorce when I was 15 forged an unbreakable bond. I helped her with homework, drove her to soccer practice, and later, offered a shoulder when Kevin's temper and drinking made her home life a battlefield. Lily, my niece, was always a quiet, bookish kid. She loved fantasy novels, preferring their intricate worlds to the messiness of her parents' constant fights. I was the fun uncle, the one who'd buy her books for her birthday, or take her to the comic shop just to escape the tension at home. I thought we had a special connection and understanding. The accusation dropped on a Friday evening in March. I'd been at Paige's for dinner, just me, since Chloe had a work deadline. Kevin was out of town, a rare respite that made the evening almost normal. Lily was quieter than usual, though, picking at her spaghetti, then excusing herself early to her room. Paige and I cleaned up, talking about her dental office job, my upcoming promotion, whether Chloe and I would finally get engaged. It was mundane, comfortable. I left around 9 p.m., drove home, watched some TV, and drifted off to sleep, thinking about a perfectly unremarkable night. Then the world ended. Saturday morning, my phone blared at 6:30 a.m. It was Paige, her voice a raw, jagged scream. "How could you, Ethan? How could you do that to her? To my daughter?" I bolted upright, Chloe stirring next to me, her eyes clouded with sleep and confusion. "Paige, what are you talking about?" I stammered, my heart already hammering. "Lily told me everything," she shrieked, every word a shard of glass. "She told me what you did last night after dinner. You're sick. You're disgusting. I'm calling the police." The words hit me like a physical blow. My stomach lurched, cold and empty. "What? Paige, what did she say?" "I didn't do anything." Chloe was wide awake now, her gaze fixed on me, wide with dawning horror. "She said you came into her room after I went to the bathroom. She said you touched her. Don't you dare lie to me." My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. That's not true. That didn't happen. I never went near her room. "Paige, please, you have to believe me." Her voice, cold and final, pierced me. "I never want to see you again. Don't call me. Don't come near my house. If you try to contact Lily, I will make sure you rot in prison." The line went dead. I sat there, the phone trembling violently in my hand. Chloe's voice was a whisper. "What's wrong?" When I finally managed to articulate the monstrous accusation, her face drained of all color. "That's insane," she said, though her conviction wavered. "You were only there for like 3 hours. You came straight home." But I saw it. That flicker of doubt, small at first, but destined to become a gaping chasm between us. The police arrived Sunday afternoon. 2 detectives, their faces unreadable, asked to come in. I let them, believing that's what innocent people did. I thought if I just explained, they'd see the misunderstanding. I told them everything, meticulously, desperately. I never went into Lily's room. I never touched her. I never did anything wrong. Detective Harrison, the male officer, took notes, his expression a mask of judgment that made my skin crawl. Detective Rodriguez, slightly less accusatory, kept asking the same questions, twisting them, trying to bait me into a contradiction. Asterisk, did you go upstairs? No. Did you use the bathroom? Yes, downstairs. Did you see Lily after dinner? Only when she said goodnight from the stairs. Did you hug her? No, she just waved. Asterisk, my palms were slick with sweat. Every instinct screamed, lawyer. But fear paralyzed me. Asking for a lawyer would make me look guilty, wouldn't it? So I agreed to go to the station for a formal interview. 3 grueling hours. They recorded every word, asking about my relationship with Lily, if I'd ever been alone with her, if I'd noticed anything different about her behavior around me. Each question felt like a trap, and no matter how I answered, I could feel them molding my words to fit their preconceived narrative of a predator. They didn't arrest me. Investigation ongoing, they said, don't leave town. When I got back to my apartment, Chloe was packing. I think I should stay at my sister's for a few days, she said, avoiding my eyes. Chloe, you know me. You know I would never, I know, she interrupted, her voice tight. I just need some space to process this. It's a lot. She left that evening. And she took more than a few days' worth of clothes. By Monday, the whispers had become a roar. Paige had told our mom, who told our dad, who told his new wife, who told her kids. My phone exploded. Most messages were from family, expressing shock, disappointment, disgust. A few friends cautiously inquired if the rumors were true. The most gut-wrenching message came from my mom, asterisk, I raised you better than this. I don't know who you are anymore, asterisk, I called her. No answer. My dad picked up, listened to me deny everything for 30 seconds, then said, Paige has no reason to lie, Ethan. Lily has no reason to lie. Maybe you need to get help. He hung up. My younger cousin, Sophie, who I'd always been close with, sent a single text, stay away from my kids. The isolation was suffocating. Within a week, I was cut off from nearly everyone. The few who claimed to believe me also said they couldn't be seen supporting me. Optics, they muttered. People might think we condone it. Noah, my best friend since college, was one of the first to call. My heart soared. Finally, someone. Man, this is heavy, he said, his voice hesitant. I just want you to know I'm here for you. Relief washed over me. Thank you, you have no idea how much, but I've got to be honest with you, Ethan. My wife is pregnant. We're having a daughter, and she's really uncomfortable with me staying in contact with you right now. Just until this whole thing gets cleared up, you know. The relief curdled into bile. Noah, you've known me for 12 years. I know. And I believe you, bro. I do. But Sarah is hormonal and scared. I can't have this stress on her right now. Once everything blows over and you're cleared, we'll grab beers and laugh about this whole mess. Just give it some time. He never called again. Not even after the truth came out. Once everything blows over was just a polite way of cutting me loose forever. My neighbors, people I'd exchanged pleasantries with for years, started crossing the street. Mrs. Chin, from 3B, who I'd helped with groceries countless times, now looked through me like I was invisible. The elderly couple in 2A, who always invited me to their barbecue, suddenly had their grandson install a security camera pointed directly at my door. I ordered groceries online. Going to the pharmacy for sleeping pills my doctor prescribed, because sleep had become impossible, meant enduring a pharmacist's undisguised disgust. I walked out without the medication. Chloe called after 5 days. She was crying. I can't do this, she sobbed. I want to believe you, but everyone is saying you're guilty, and my family thinks I'm crazy for even hesitating. I can't be with someone who's under investigation for this. I'm sorry. For years. Marriage. Kids. Growing old. Gone. Because other people told her to doubt me. Work was next. HR called me in. They'd heard. Administrative leave, they said, pending the outcome. Paid, but only 60% of my salary. The message was clear, I was toxic. My nameplate was gone from my office door within days. My company email revoked. My access to shared drives deactivated. A colleague, Mark, sent me a 2-sentence message. *HR told us not to contact you. Sorry, man. Asterisk years of shared projects, lunches, complaints about management, reduced to that. The financial pressure was crushing. Legal fees, $350 an hour, ate through my $15,000 savings in 2 months. I lived on rice and beans. I lost weight, not just from stress, but from literal hunger. Someone spray-painted "Predator" on my car. I filed a police report, the irony a bitter laugh in my throat. The lowest point came about a month in. 2 a.m. Staring at my phone. Someone had posted my name and photo in a local Facebook group, warning parents. Hundreds of shares. Vicious comments. Asterisk lock him up forever. I hope someone takes care of him. Chemical castration is too good for monsters like this. Asterisk, I closed the app, sitting in the dark, wondering if this was it. If I'd ever prove my innocence. If I'd forever be labeled a monster. I questioned everything. Had I done something to upset Lily? Misread a situation? The constant accusations, the unwavering belief of everyone around me, began to chip away at my own sanity. I knew I was innocent, knew it with every fiber of my being. But late at night, exhausted and desperate, I'd replay that evening, frame by frame. Had I really not gone upstairs? Had I blocked something out? The weight of their certainty felt heavier than my own truth. I filled a notebook with timelines, with irrefutable details. Paige was in the kitchen with me almost the entire time. A 5-minute window when she'd gone upstairs for her phone. Lily's room was at the end of the hall. The stairs creaked. Paige would have heard me. It was physically impossible. But logic didn't matter. Facts didn't matter. A tearful 13-year-old girl had said I hurt her. And in the court of public opinion, that was all it took. The legal system required evidence. The social justice system required nothing but an accusation and a ready mob. I started having nightmares. On trial, everyone I knew in the gallery, pointing, chanting, guilty, guilty, guilty. I'd wake up gasping, drenched in sweat. For a merciful second, I'd forget. Then reality would crash down. My nightmare was my life. Chloe's toothbrush was still in my bathroom, a drawer of her clothes still in my dresser. I couldn't pack it up. That would mean it was truly over. Some nights, I'd text her, begging her to just talk to me. She stopped responding after the first few attempts. My lawyer, though patient, offered little comfort. The investigation will run its course, he said, and without physical evidence, it will likely be closed. Likely wasn't a guarantee. Every day felt like another piece of my life being stolen. I lost 20 pounds. I stopped showering regularly. Panic attacks seized me at the sound of sirens. My apartment became my prison. Going outside meant facing the stares and whispers of people who saw a monster. Then, 6 months after my world shattered, my lawyer called. His voice was different, lighter. Ethan, you need to sit down for this. My heart slammed against my ribs. What happened? Lily recanted. She admitted she made it up. The words didn't make sense. I made him repeat them. She told a school counselor yesterday that she lied. None of it happened. The police interviewed her this morning, and she confirmed the accusation was false. The investigation is being closed. You're clear. I should have felt relief. Vindication. Instead, a white-hot rage, so intense it blurred my vision, pulsed through me. My hands shook uncontrollably. 6 months of hell. Why? I finally choked out. Why did she do it? Apparently, she overheard her parents talking about divorce. She thought if she created a big enough crisis, they'd focus on that instead and stay together. She picked you because she thought you'd forgive her eventually, since you were her uncle. The school counselor's notes indicate she's been struggling with severe anxiety and guilt. A 13-year-old kid. Destroyed my entire life because she wanted her parents to stop fighting. My lawyer kept talking about next steps, defamation claims. I wasn't listening. I hung up and stared at the wall, numb. Over the next few days, the news spread, just as quickly and viciously as the accusation had. But the people who'd been so eager to condemn me were noticeably quieter now. A few sent brief, generic texts, asterisk glad it got sorted out. Sorry for what you went through, asterisk insufficient. My mom called. Ethan, honey, we need to talk about this. What's there to talk about? I know you're angry, but Lily is just a child. She made a mistake. She's been in therapy. And Paige says she's devastated by what she did. Devastated? I barked, my voice cracking with years of pain. Mom, do you have any idea what the last 6 months have been like for me? I know it was hard. Hard. I lost my job. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my entire family. People spray-painted my car and sent me death threats. I thought about killing myself more than once. And you all believed her without even giving me a chance to defend myself. A long silence. We had to protect Lily. You understand that, right? We couldn't risk. You didn't have to risk anything. You could have believed your own son. You could have at least listened to me. Please don't be like this. Families make mistakes. We can move past this. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Move past this? Mom, you told me you didn't know who I was anymore. You chose to believe I was a child predator over believing I was innocent. That's not something we just move past. Ethan, I hung up. Paige tried to visit. I saw her through the peephole, her face blotchy, tears streaming down her face as she knocked for 10 minutes, calling my name, begging to apologize. I sat on the floor, my back against the door, listening to her cry, and felt nothing. She left a 4-page handwritten letter, full of apologies, explanations. She believed Lily because she was her daughter, because Paige had been abused as a child and vowed to always believe victims. She said Lily was remorseful. I burned the letter in my kitchen sink. My dad emailed. * dinner? Talk things through. * deleted without response. Sophie texted. * I'm so sorry, Ethan. I should have trusted you. Can we talk? * I blocked her number. Chloe showed up 3 weeks after the recantation. Nervous, fidgeting with her purse strap. Can I come in? Why? Because I miss you. Because I made a horrible mistake. Because I want to apologize. Apologize for what, exactly? For not standing by you. For believing everyone else instead of trusting what I knew about you. I was scared and confused, and I made the wrong choice. But we can start over. I still love you. I looked at her, this woman I'd planned a future with. I felt absolutely nothing. You left me when I needed you most. You believed I was capable of hurting a child. That's not something you come back from, Chloe. People make mistakes when they're scared. I was scared too. I was terrified and alone, and you abandoned me. You don't get to come back now that it's convenient. That's not fair. Fair? I sneered. You want to talk about fair? Get out. She left, sobbing. I closed the door and went back to my empty apartment. My former employer reached out. HR sent a formal letter. Leave lifted, welcome back, full back pay. They framed it as if they'd been protecting me. I sent a one-line email. I quit. I wasn't going back to a place that had thrown me away the second things got difficult. I wasn't going to sit in meetings with people who had whispered about me, who had assumed my guilt without evidence. I could have fought for my old life. Accepted the apologies. Rebuilt relationships. Taken Chloe back. Returned to my job. Pretended the last 6 months hadn't happened. But I didn't want that life anymore. Those people had shown me exactly who they were when things got hard. Their love was conditional. Their loyalty fleeting. They were willing to believe the worst about me without proof. I was disposable. My lawyer helped me file a civil suit against Paige and Kevin for defamation and emotional distress. It wasn't about the money. It was about the record. A legal document stating I was innocent, that they had harmed me. The case settled out of court for a modest amount. Paige had to sell her car. I didn't feel good about it, but I didn't feel bad either. I moved to a different state, got a new job at a different firm where no one knew my history. I started seeing a therapist specializing in trauma. Slowly, painfully, I began rebuilding. But it wasn't the same life. I was different now. Harder. More guarded. Less willing to trust. I'd learned that the people who claimed to love you could turn on you in an instant. That accusations could destroy you, even if false. That forgiveness wasn't mandatory and reconciliation wasn't always the right choice. The texts and emails continued for months. My mom sent long messages about forgiveness and healing. My dad left an awkward birthday voicemail, singing. Paige sent cards with pictures of Lily. I read them all. I never responded. A year after everything fell apart, Sophie found my new address. A package arrived. Inside, a framed photo from a family reunion when we were kids, ice cream on our faces. A note. Asterisk, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I miss my cousin. I'm sorry I failed you. Asterisk, I kept the photo. I still didn't respond. My therapist asked if I'd ever consider reconciling. Holding on to anger can be exhausting, she said gently. Sometimes forgiveness is for ourselves. I'm not holding on to anger, I told her. I'm just choosing not to have them in my life. There's a difference. She nodded slowly. There is. But you need to be honest with yourself about which one you're doing. I thought about it for weeks. Punishing them or protecting myself. Vindictive or setting boundaries. In the end, it didn't matter. They'd made their choice when they believed I was guilty without evidence. I was making mine by refusing to let them back in. Lily turned 16 last month. Paige sent a message saying Lily wanted to apologize in person, that her therapist thought it would be good for her healing process. She'd written a letter, wanted to read it to me face to face. I didn't respond to Paige, but I did think about Lily. She'd been a kid, scared and desperate, who'd made a terrible choice. She'd hurt me more than anyone, destroyed everything I'd built. But she was 13 and struggling. Part of me understood that. Part of me even felt sorry for her. But that didn't mean I owed her forgiveness. That didn't mean I needed to be part of her healing journey. She'd have to find a way to live with what she did, the same way I'd had to find a way to live with what happened to me. Maybe someday I'll change my mind. Maybe someday the anger will fade enough for me to talk to my mom, or Sophie, or even Paige. Maybe I'll listen to Lily's apology and tell her I forgive her. But today isn't that day. Today, I'm living my life on my terms, surrounded by people who chose to believe in me, who earned my trust, who showed up when things got hard. I have a girlfriend now, Ava. She knows everything, and she chose me anyway. I have new friends who see me for who I am, not who I was accused of being. My old family wants reconciliation. They want forgiveness, second chances, a return to how things were. They want me to understand they were just protecting Lily, that they made mistakes out of fear, that families are supposed to stick together. But here's what they don't understand. I did stick together. I maintained my innocence. I cooperated. I waited for the truth. They were the ones who abandoned ship the second things got scary. They were the ones who decided I was guilty without trial. They have to live with that choice. And I get to decide whether they deserve a place in my new life. So far, the answer is no. And, honestly, I'm okay with that. Some bridges, once burned, aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some relationships, once broken, can't be fixed with apologies and time. Some wounds leave scars that change who you are forever. I'm not the same Ethan Miller I was before the accusation. That person died somewhere in those 6 months of hell, abandoned by everyone who claimed to love him. The person I am now is stronger, more cautious, less willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that makes me harder. Maybe it makes me colder. Maybe it makes me less forgiving than I should be. But it also makes me someone who knows his worth, who refuses to accept conditional love, who won't let people back in just because they've decided they're ready to stop treating him like a monster. My family wants reconciliation. They can want it all they want. What would you have done if your entire world was ripped apart by a lie, and then the very people who abandoned you demanded forgiveness? Would you have found a way to reconcile, or would you have chosen to walk away and never look back? Let me know in the comments.